you see this Harrison's case and why VDM is in the picture, and I'm very happy that VDM is in the picture, because VDM, I understand that you issued the arrest, but I'll be more disappointed in you if you are not learning right now or thinking that this is your moment. This is not your kind of moment. This is a moment you should learn, you should reflect, because whether you like it or not, this very thing that is happening around Harrison right now is most likely going to happen very soon to you, because the whole issue revolves around one thing: lack of accountability. You see, Harrison being able to do this or pull this, whatever reason he's actually given, reimbursement, personal risk, whatever reason he's actually given to justify what made him took 5.4 million out of the money, it doesn't sound logical. It doesn't even sound security wise to me, right? I believe there are better way in 2025. See, any story that is taking time to be clear, some truth is actually missing, right? The truth doesn't really hide that much. It's very visible. They're looking at you. The only people hiding are those telling it, not the truth. Truth, they look at you, they look at them. Good. Let me tell you how mistakes like this get to implicate people to this length. When you engage in mistakes, it looks very easy, especially when your mistakes did not correct you, or especially when you didn't learn from your mistake, or especially when your conscience, or you didn't listen to your conscience. You will start seeing it as normal. It will allow you, you know, your conscience will allow you to be doing what you're doing, until one day, simple thing like 5.4 million naira will be enough to implicate you. To the point where the people saying, "We love you, Harrison, will they see what they do? God, we all those things." It will come to your understanding that nobody was loving you objectively, but rather emotionally. Nigerians will love you emotionally, but drag you legally. They know what they are doing. No? This is the reason why VDM is even in this picture for me. And I'm even glad that he made himself involved in this very picture. So VDM, if you're not learning in this very process, but trying to save the day, sometimes you don't save the day, sometimes you learn. If you're not learning right now, then something is really wrong somewhere with your ego. At this point, you should understand that what is happening around Harrison right now is almost what is going to happen to you if you still walk this road of accountability. You're in the space. Nobody chose this space for you. You did it. You chose this NGO supporting people. You did it. You chose this for a reason. That is the reason why if anybody is saying, "Why if VDM no get work, this is work enough for you. I have my business." That is the reason why I didn't choose that way, right? If you're not learning right now, when it comes to thinking that I can do anything with public funds, if you feel me, I can do anything with public funds, even if it's travel, even if it's anything, because of what? People love me, they will defend me. Now lie, you my brother. I understand what Nigerians are trying to do with you. You are a representation, you're a mirror. You serve as the person who speaks for Nigerians' frustration, but let that not carry you away. You have your life to save in the future. What many people don't know is that accountability can easily transform into a crime. Not because you planned it, not because you intended harm, but because transparency, procedures, protocol was missing, and there was no system protecting you from yourself. That is exactly what is happening to Harrison right now. Nigerians has broken themselves to a point where they cannot fight for themselves anymore. So they need someone to speak and scream on their behalf. And by that, anybody that does that is by default a hero. And they will want that person to keep speaking and speaking. So if you're not careful as a person who is a rising influencer, who is a rising person here, and you keep speaking, they will force you to keep speaking to the point where you have nothing to say. But by that pressure alone, you speak the one way will carry enter problem. If you need to understand Nigerians before you thrive. That's the reason why I said they will celebrate you emotionally and destroy you legally. When I saw comments like, "This is the reason why we love VDM. This is the reason why we love VDM. This is the reason why we love VDM. It's transparent." God, this is. I saw a lot of comments about that, and it provoked one thought. On what grounds are people saying this? Because I've been asking this. Has there been any time VDM provided a detailed, how he spends the funds and everything? The answer is no. If anybody has actually asked him to do that, has he responded, the way he should? Answer is no. Has he granted interviews, to answer that? The answer is no. How do people raise that, or where do people exactly base their, "We trust VDM to," how? Emotions. As far as I'm concerned, what happened to Harrison can actually happen to VDM, because it's actually coming from same source. Lack of structure, accountability, not wickedness, not criminal intention in a way, just lack of systems. If you're fighting for many battles for Nigerians and people trust your voice, but most times public trust without accountability is usually a trap. That's the reason why you see this setup they are saying it's a setup around Harrison. Exactly. It usually looks like a setup because if 5.4 million can actually pull Harrison down, somebody who you could possibly tell that he has actually handled enough, or he had potentials or had hopes to get thousands of that. It usually takes one simple mistake based on the fact that you've been doing this for a little while and you've commonized the mistake. The mistake usually looks like a setup. It will set you up in the future. Nobody set them up. So this is my advice to VDM. First, publish your last 12 most donation breakdown. Let people see the income, expenditure, balance and purpose. Number 2, if you're actually receiving donations into your personal account, I think you've actually made it clear that you don't. Fine, I respect you for that. Create a verified donation portal with an external processor. It's going to make more sense. Number 3, you establish a 3 to 5 or 6 person governance board. Independent Nigerians who monitor your finances. This is how to show that you're actually transparent. Number 4, you release quarterly reports, not long speeches like you come online, I did this, I did that, we spent 15 million. That's not really a breakdown. Number 5, invite an independent audit at least once a year. When you do this, you shut the door for future scandals permanently. I'm not saying this from a place of personal interest. I'm saying this because if you collect money on behalf of the public, whether you call it donation, support, emergency contribution, welfare fund or NGO project, you are no longer just an activist. You've stepped into a legally regulated space that demands accountability from people. What people do not know that in NGO, even in Nigeria, all these things work with, regulations. Proper financial records, separate from organization funds, file returns and reports. Transparency is not optional when it comes to NGO. It protects both the activists and the donors and even the people respecting you. Mistakes becomes crime when there is no documentation. Then misjudgment becomes scandal when there is no accountability. If you really have the power to influence, you must also have the power to discipline your mind to be audited. It's still same umbrella because it's still same lack of accountability. There is no accountability from the side of Harrison Gwamnishu. He has been considering it to be way of settling himself, calling it side hustle. Because trust me, you see these things people call side hustle. If you pay attention to those side hustle, I'm very dark man. I'm very sure you have side hustles. An activist know they get side hustle. That's one thing you should know.